Yo, 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 what's going on, coaches? It's your man, Jay Immanuel, back with a new episode of Multiply Your Sales. And as you can see, I have a very, very special guest, my girl, the one and only Alison Wellington from what? Align with Alison. What's going on with you?
Thank you, Jay, for having me. I am so honored to be a guest.
Oh man, I'm excited to have you on here because we're going to help out some coaches who have some very specific problems today, man. Those coaches who have not been able to get consistent results for their clients, well as the coaches out there who are getting testimonials, but they're not really sure how to properly leverage them to land new clients. And I know that that's something that you absolutely crush it with. So all my dating and relationship coaches, man, y'all better buckle up, stay here from start to finish because Alison is about to drop some gems on you. With that in mind, I want to pass it over to you. What would you say is the reason why so many coaches tend to struggle when it comes to, getting those consistent results for their clients? What have you noticed?
So consistent results for clients. Two things. Number one, coaches have to remember that they are only one part of the plan. So you can have the resolution, you can teach the resolution, you can teach the next steps, but it's always about application and execution on behalf of your client. So they have to show up and they have to do the work that you have outlined for them. You are not fully responsible for anyone's successes or failures. So just as much as we want to say, woo, 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 look at how my client was able to make X amount of dollars. Woo, 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 look at my client who was able to land this job. Woo, 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 for me, look at this client who's down the aisle. Some of that is my work, right? I taught the client how to navigate dating successfully, how to respond on dating apps, where events to attend, where she met the guy that ended up being her husband. But she also needed to go to the event. She had to scroll on the app. She had to engage. So coaches need to remember it's not all about you. So yes, we are so excited about the successes and we amplify that online, but we know in our heart of hearts that the client had to do. But when you also have a quote unquote client failure, know that if you know what you're doing and you know that your methodology works, but it didn't work for them, it's probably because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So don't take it so personally.
That's real. And I actually kind of want to go down memory lane for a little bit. If you kind of go back to the start of your journey as a coach, were there ever times where you felt or found yourself struggling to get results for your clients on a consistent basis?
Nope.
You're like, yo,
no, because I tested my methodology first. So when I work with clients, there's a specific plan that's put in place. And I put that plan in place, the strategies in place first. So I said, okay, I was able to, so my story starts with me. I was able to move on from a relationship that didn't serve me, get back on the dating scene and get engaged. By that time, when I started coaching, I was just only engaged. I said, okay, well, what did I do in order to get to that result? And I outlined and mapped out how I was able to do it. I then reached out to 5 people and I said, hey, I'm launching this business to become a dating and relationship coach. I need to see if the method that worked for me can work for the masses. Would you be willing to work with me for free, following this strategy or these strategies, this plan? And if it works for you, you give me a testimonial. If it doesn't work, we just keep this quiet and that's just between me and you, right? So I had 3 of the 5 people agree to go through the program for free. 2 out of 3 of them got results. The third one didn't listen. That's not on me, right? She didn't execute. That's not on me. So nonetheless, I got their testimonials, and I know we'll talk about how to use testimonials and leverage them for your business. But nonetheless, I created a plan that worked for me. I know it worked because it worked. And then I tested it with others for free and it worked for them. And so I'm like, okay, well, this works. So now all I have to do is position myself in the business, in the industry, do the work that you have to do with the marketing in order to get the clients, and then teach them the methods that have proven more than once. If it worked for me, it worked for others, it can work for you if you do the work.
Yeah. And you actually bring up something that kind of goes back to the point that you were making about coaches not getting, down on themselves if the people that they're working with aren't getting results. And it makes me kind of think, what's the criteria that you put the people you work with through, right? Because I'm sure you're not just like, hey, anybody who want to work with Alison, come on over here, let's work, right?
So I think it's easy to say when you don't rely solely on the income that to have this stringent application process, right? But if you have somebody who has fully invested in themselves, they don't work, they don't get a paycheck, which I don't recommend that you quit your job. You need to keep your job so that you have the flexibility to be particular about who you work with. Because when you quit your job to jump out the window to do this new venture, now you got to take any old scallywag who comes your way. You're going to be super desperate. You're going to be dropping your prices. And then now you're attracting people who aren't serious. You get what you pay for, right? So the cheaper your product, the less likely those people are going to be dedicated and serious. When you really invest in a product or a service, you are going to be doing what's necessary for it to succeed, because you can't afford to lose 3K. You can't afford to lose 5K. You can't afford to lose 10, 20K. When something's $50, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to execute. Who cares? I spent $50 on Uber in 2 days, right?
Right.
So, or for people in a week, that's their coffee. So nonetheless, one thing is to be sure that you are not desperate for clients. So do not leave that job, or if you have already, get another one, so that you don't have to be fiending to take any old body who comes across your path, right? So that's step one before we even get through what the application process looks like.
Okay.
Step two is going to be the actual application process. So, and kind of related to the application is going to be your price point. What is the value that you are providing, right? Like, what is this valued at, or perceived value? How does the world perceive it? How does your industry, or how does your community or your neighborhood or your network perceive this? And what are other people charging? Now, I know that might not be an attractive response, but you have to be reasonable within the realms of what your competitors are charging. And unfortunately for me in the dating and relationship space, we're not very transparent about it. Like, many times you have to book a call in order to find out. My pricing is on my site. That's a part of my application process. You ain't even apply yet. You're going to see exactly what this costs. If you can't afford it, don't even, and I say that literally on the bottom. And anybody who's a dating and relationship coach, I need you, or a coach at all, but especially dating and relationship, go to other people's pages, click the link in their bio. If they have their pricing, you're lucky. I do, at Align with Alison. If not, you got some methods. Maybe you want to ask a sister or a brother to book a call to find out. Do your research. Do whatever you got to do your research, right? Cool. And then you got to see, like, I know that I'm in the middle. I know that I charge a little bit more than some folks. I know I charge a little bit less. The way I found out, because people don't normally have their pricing, is that I've spoken to people who book calls with me, and I asked them, have you had a consultation call with anybody else? Have you ever worked with another dating or relationship coach? And I said, all right, girl, well, between me and you, how much are they charging? Because I need to know what the industry says is appropriate and what value do you bring? What are you resolving? I'm helping women to be found by the partner that they deserve, their husband, their lifelong partner, the father of their children, the people that they are going to rely on to make medical decisions. There's no number to that. There's no number you can attach to that, right? So then now that's gone. That's out the window for me. That's not an option. So the only thing I can rely on is what my competitors are doing. And you can choose to be on the lower end of that, especially if you're new and don't have many testimonials. If you have mad testimonials, you could be in the high end. If you want to be safe in the middle like me, do the middle. But that, for my particular case, because you cannot put a number on love, affection, attention, support, guidance. That's $1 million. Like, what you going to say? No. So I just look at the competition and I decide where to put myself from there. So that's what I would advise coaches to do.
Nah, yo, you just put on like a little mini masterclass right there. And I absolutely appreciate you for doing that. And it kind of brings back something that you had mentioned, which is when you have those clients, they're going through, they're filling out the form, you're setting your pricing, all of that stuff is important. But the one thing that I want to really touch on is the fact that some coaches are not actually taking the time out to approach and build relationships before they go in for the sale. And that's something that I've noticed that you do really well. Like, you have a community of people that isn't like this big high ticket community where women can come in, they can get familiar with you, they can see how you coach, and then that eventually puts them in a position to be able to say, hey, I do want to work with Alison and get that higher ticket coaching.
Yes. So two things, right? Number one, you have to build your like, know, and trust factor. People have to like you first. They then have to get to know you, learning your story and how you function. And then they trust you to hand over potentially thousands of dollars, right? Again, a $50 product. All right, I could just like you and know you and send you $50. But like, no, trust. I need to trust that you are a person who's on the up and up. You're not going to run away with my money, and you actually get the result that you say that you do, which is through posting testimonials. You gotta post those testimonials. So like, know, and trust, right? That's how you're gonna get people. And then also, as you mentioned before, everything can't be high ticket. Now, I'll be honest with you. I think that I do a good job of that stream. I could do a better job of my low ticket, but you absolutely have to have that as an option, because there will be some people who will upgrade from the low ticket to the high. And maybe might be people who never do, but so what? If you're a part of my paid group, my paid group is $62 a month.
Yeah.
In 10 months, I got $620 off of you.
Right.
That ain't bad. And if it's a $62 product, right? Like my Facebook group, it's not a lot of effort. I have a meeting once a month.
Yeah.
I drop in video, like my YouTube videos, or I have I like to call it what's the term I use? A bank, which is basically a folder, right? My live stream bank, it has 120 hours of live streams in there. I already did that work. Hey, y'all, I did the pre-recorded training. Everybody else is getting charged $50 for the masterclass. You get it for free because you're already in the group. They didn't get it for free. They paid $62 to be in the group, right? So building that like, know, and trust. You have to give content for free. You got to spill the tea. You got to teach for free. Yeah. I do that every Wednesday for my live Q&A. People drop their question. I call it Ask Alison. They drop their question in their stories, and I give them the tea for free. That's how they're going to build the like, know, and trust. It takes people from like 6 months to a year and a half to buy from me. Everyone's cycle is not like that. Right. The way that I know is because on my form, it says, how long have you been following me? And they'll say 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, a year, whatever. Because I need to know, I need to figure out how long is it going to take for people to decide that I'm a good fit for them. Yeah. Because then I can also, which I'm not that great at, I'm not perfect in this, but I can begin to project, what money is going to look like 6, 8, 10, 12, a year and a half from now. And it keeps me like, I got to keep creating this content. I got to keep posting. I got to be consistent because the people that follow me today aren't going to give me $1 until potentially summertime. Right. So if I fall off now, I'm messing up my summertime money. I can't, the industry I'm in, I'm not in a position to take a break. It sucks. Yeah. I got a VA, so that helps because it takes my people so long. People aren't accustomed to hiring a dating coach. It's not like a business coach. Right. And business coaches, you can argue in the comments and tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. Business coaches have it easy. Yeah. Because everyone knows the phrase, it takes money to, what is it?
Take money
you gotta
to make
spend
money.
money to make money.
Yeah.
Everybody understands that. So they have an understanding of if I need to make money in my business and I don't know how to make money in my business, I need to hire someone who knows how to make money in my business. We have not been taught that if you're struggling in your romantic life, pay some lady who's going to teach you how to navigate dating. Yeah. We've been taught through Disney's that some guy's going to fall, just fall to your feet. Like, I'm going to be walking down the street. Yep. And he's going to knock my shoulder. The books are going to fly on the floor. That's what we've been taught. So I have to fight against something that we have been indoctrinated with for our entire lives, that a guy is just going to just appear in front of you when you need him the most. So I got out of work. Business coaches, the people who do like resume, like y'all, because people understand I got to spend money to make money, but people who don't, like industries that's not a given or that's a new industry, that's a hard sell.
That's facts. And I'm gonna definitely let you take a sip because you dropping so many gems. There's so many things that you touched on, and I want to take my time. Let's see, which one do I want to dive into first? Okay, so I want to go this route. You talked about how much content you have to put out, how much you have to do for free in order to build that know, like, and trust, which is vitally important. I want to look at when was a time when you didn't know that, or you didn't have all of that together? Because I'm assuming like most people, you kind of learn these things as you go along. And I'm curious what that you didn't. Oh,
nope. Do you know why? Let me tell you. I hired a coach. How are you going to have an expectation that someone's going to pay you potentially thousands of dollars to get a result for them? Yeah. You know that you don't have the answer to solve whatever your problem is, but yet you don't want to pay somebody else thousands of dollars to fix your problem. Right. Energetically, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. So I'm not willing to invest thousands of dollars into me and my business to figure out, because I don't have a business degree. If you got a business degree, we ain't talking to you. Yeah. Right? But I don't have a business degree. I have an education degree, and then my master's is in mental health counseling. I don't know how to run a business. Yeah. I don't know how to manage social media, right? So how am I going to have an expectation that people are supposed to pay me thousands of dollars to help them find a husband or help a husband find them, however they want to say it. Yeah. Right? But yet at the same time, I'm not willing to spend $1,000 on my dream of my business so I can figure out how to market that. And I know I don't know how to do it. That's unreasonable. So out the gate, when I decided in May of 2020 that I was going to start this business, I immediately started with like a $1,400 course. Wow. $1,000 course. I started to execute those things. And I was getting a little bit of an uptick, like, okay, this is how you get testimonials. This is what you need in order to get a text list, in order to get an email list. This is, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, this is a good start. This is not enough. So then I hired another coach. I think her Black Friday was $3,500 or $3,800. Took that course and ran with it. And since then, I've invested one more time into a brand coach, which was $5K a month. Okay. So yeah. Now, again, I started with the $1,400. I started with the $1,000. Then I went on to the 35 and then $5K a month. But how can you have an expectation that someone's supposed to pay you to get their problem resolved, but you don't have an expectation that you don't have to pay somebody to get your problem resolved? It doesn't make sense. So no, I did not struggle from the beginning. Smooth sailing, because I paid for courses and I invested in a coach to help me figure out, one, how do you technically, how do you build a business, the tech background stuff, the back end stuff. And then it was, how do you leverage social media in order to build your business from the beginning?
Wow. And it's so interesting because you took, I would say, a path that only a small percentage of people take, right? Because one, most people try to get the results without making any investments, right? And that's one of the reasons why they tend to struggle. And then secondly, people postpone working with a coach, or like you mentioned, like making that higher ticket investment to get the information that you need in order to lay the groundwork for the type of business that you're trying to establish. So yeah, I absolutely love that, because I've talked to a lot of coaches and most people have a struggle story, myself included. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I definitely went and spun the wheel before things started working out. And like you mentioned, especially for new coaches that are tuned into this, don't do that. Like avoid it. Like you're showing that, hey, you don't even have to go through that heartache. You don't have to go through that pain. Just do the right thing from the very beginning.
Yep. And Jay, this is the thing. I'm not saying that you have a G or 1,400 or 3,500 to start the show, but you got something. And if you don't have something, let me tell you, you need to put your business on pause. Go do some overtime and then find a coach that you like, know, and trust, and start with their low ticket. If they have a Facebook group that's $15 a month, start with that. If they have a pre-recorded class, start with that. Like do something that's a low ticket. And then it's that first payoff, right? That first client that you got off of the strength of what you learned in that class, you reinvest that same money. So if I learned in your class, Jay, how to use TikTok to get clients, and I used your strategy, I paid $15 for your little class, low ticket, and I got a client and that client paid me $1,500. I'm taking that $1,500 and I'm reinvesting in you because you taught me how to get that person. I wouldn't have had that person if it wasn't for your TikTok class. So then why would I not then take that same money? If I could get one client off of the little, how many more clients could I get off the big? We need to stop being greedy and be strategic and reinvest in our business and not run off when we get our first check and then be surprised when we can't replicate the results.
Yeah. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important for coaches to be able to consistently get results, right? One of the main problems that we address in today, because if you're not getting the results, then you're actually cutting off essentially the lifetime value of your customers. And similar to you, I can use myself as an example. People whose courses or low ticket or mid ticket offers that I invested in and they got me results. I know them, I like them, and I trust them. What do? I go spend more money with them. I like the way you teach. Clearly, you taught in a way that I can follow along, put this stuff into action, and it works for me. So I ain't gonna have no problem giving you more money. But what happens to the people that you invest with, whether it's low, mid, or high ticket, and you're like, yo, that didn't work. Especially if you know you put in the work, then it's like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna invest with you no more.
Yeah. And I would even say this, similar to how we opened up with saying, how many of those clients who didn't succeed, who didn't get the result, how many of them were doing the work? I want you to be honest and say, did you do every single thing that they told you to do when did you have 3 days where you didn't post? Well, you didn't do everything that they told you to do, right? Did you have 4 days where you said, I need a social media? You ain't getting no social media breaks. Unless you are paying for ads, you don't have a right to take a social media break because that's the leverage, right? Or again, pay for ads. That way it can be standoff and then it can just, reinvest itself. But did you do everything? And then if you did every single thing to the letter, I want to know how much research did you do before you hired this coach for this mid or high ticket thing? Did you look at every single testimonial? Did you look at the name on the testimonial and say, hey, at a line with Alison, I noticed that Jay posted you as one of his testimonials. I hope you don't mind me reaching out, but could you give me the skinny? Like, what was it really like? Like, what? I know that I invite people all the time. Now, in my case, my stuff is a little sensitive. So many times the at name or the number is never going to be on there. The email will never be, maybe an at name. But when I'm going live and there's folks that are in the comments that say, I worked with Alison. Alison was amazing. I'm engaged because of her. I don't say their name on live because, again, the nature of my industry is private. But I'll say, hey, one of my clients is in the comments right now. Because she already made herself public, right? So if you see her name and you want to ask questions, go ahead and send her a DM. And I say, I'm not going to say your name. Do you mind? She'll say, nah, because she already made it public. So she's not awkward. It's not awkward. It's not embarrassing. But if you're in an industry that's not private like mine, and it's going to say at a line with Alison says, Jay is a remarkable coach. He helped me make 20K months. Slide into a line with Alison's DM. I saw you said you worked with. Is that real? Like, were you putting on? And then get the tea. I need to know how much research you did before you invested thousands of dollars in somebody. I have 200 testimonials on my Instagram right now.
Cooking.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you do the research? Or did you think that someone was a coach because they said that they're a coach in their bio? They don't have not one testimonial. They don't got no proof. No proof whatsoever that they actually do the work. Have they been consistent? Do they show up every day? Scammers don't have mad testimonials. Scammers don't show up every day. Scammers have a new industry every other week. Scammers are changing their at name because they keep getting reported or blocked or whatever. So it is up to you to do your due diligence to make sure that the coach that you choose actually has the proof in the pudding, as well as you do everything. You can't skip a step.
No.
You can't skip a step. Jay, let me ask you.
Yes.
Your audience, is it more male or female here for the pod?
I would say it's more female.
Okay. So that's perfect. Would you say African-American or are you not really sure?
Yeah, African-American.
So I'm going to speak specifically to my ladies of color, right, who are listening. The gentlemen will appreciate this example too, but the ladies going no. Okay. So for my ladies of color who have ever gotten a perm, a relaxer, right? Y'all know the steps. So what happens? They part your hair in fours, like quarters or in eighths, right? Put it in little ponytails. Then they put the gloves on. They put like a jelly on your hairline to make sure that your edges don't burn out, right? Then they take the comb, they dip it into the perm, and they go through each part. They put the perm on. Then they put you to the sink, right? They put the neutralizing shampoo. It smells like eggshells. The girls know what I'm talking about. They put the neutralizing shampoo that's going to neutralize the chemicals in the perm so it doesn't continue to burn. Then they go through the rest of the process, blow dry, flat iron, blah, blah, blah. If you don't take the middle step, if you don't do that middle step, which is the neutralizing shampoo, what's going to happen? Your hair's going to burn out. You're going to have bald spots. You can't pick and choose which steps. You can't choose to just do the parts and think you're going to have a perm. You can't choose to just put the perm and not do the neutralizing shampoo. You can't just do the neutralizing shampoo and not blow dry and flat iron there. If you remove a step from the process, you are going to fail. You can't say, I spent 10K with this person, but I didn't do step C of A to Z and then be mad when you don't get the results. There's a reason why there's a step-by-step approach. There's a reason why there's a process. You have to follow the process only to get the results. Just like your clients need to follow your process, you got to follow the people that you hire too.
That's real. And we're going to transition in a little bit to talking about the testimonials and how to leverage them to land clients. But there's something that you've mentioned over and over that I would love for you to just really kind of hammer into the coaches listening, which is the expectations that they have going into the business of coaching, right? That's something that I've heard you say over and over and over again. And can you just speak to how important it is to having the right expectations when going into this business?
Yes. So you have to, one, do the research on the coach. Do they have the expertise that you desire? Does this coach work with millennial coaches? Does this coach work with brand new coaches? Does this coach work with someone who's intermediate or advanced? Look at their area of expertise. Now, I'm not saying that the coaches have to have worked with a dating and relationship coach, maybe not that specific, but services, mental health, counseling, I need you to have that expertise. I'm not giving you, I might give you $50, but I'm not spending thousands unless I'm confident that you have the experience that I desire, right? Number two, I'm reading those testimonials very specifically. So I'll give you an example from mine. Some of my testimonials are people saying, I have not been on a date for months, and I'm so thankful that I worked with Alison because I went on 3 dates with 3 really nice guys. Some of my testimonials are, I am walking down the aisle as we speak. Some testimonials are literally like, as we speak, I'm at the wedding, we live, it's lit, right? Some of the testimonials are, I had a baby with my fiance. Some I had a baby with my husband, right? So we need to look at those testimonials. Is the person delivering what you're looking for? If you are looking for just a couple of dates, I have a testimonial for that. If you're looking for, I get dates every day. I'm looking for the right husband for me, I got a testimonial for that. But if all my testimonials were, I've been out of the dating scene for a long time, and I'm just excited to get back in, and you looking for a husband, don't be mad at me that you didn't get the husband because my testimonials didn't say that that's what I delivered, right? So doing your research on what exactly do the is it just shiny? Is it just shiny, right? Especially if we're talking about like business coaches. Business coaches love to have screenshots of the money that they've helped someone make.
How many stripes screenshots do we need to see?
Dashboards, right? They're going to show those dashboards. That's what they're going to show. But the question is how much money was that person making before they hired the coach? Oh, Lord, they got a 40K month. Were they making 37? Well, then that's not that impressive, right? And so like really and not just getting hype, like really reading and paying attention to what was said and what wasn't said. So what wasn't said, I'll give you an example about what wasn't said. So some of my testimonials say, I'm a mom, I'm a divorcee, I'm a such and such. So, we know that divorcees and moms and parents tend to have a harder time on the dating scene because there's more complications. If all 200 of my testimonials are all single young women, now I'm going to be alerted to, I don't know if Alison can help me because that's not my particular demographic, right? Or if all of my testimonials are a certain race, or all of my testimonials are a certain region, right? I'm a 25-year-old white woman from Canada, and all of Alison's testimonials are 40-year-old Black women from Miami. I might be. So you also have to pay attention to what's missing. Do I see myself in the testimonials that this coach is posting as well? So you really do have to do your job. And that's not my job. Right? As the coach that you would potentially hire, it's your job to say, is Alison a good fit? Is Jay a good fit? Let me do the research and see. Let me Google and see if they got any star ratings and what other folks are saying to get a general consensus of if this coach is the right fit for me.
No, that's good. I'm glad you said that. I was actually asking about the expectation from the coach's perspective as opposed to the client. But what you just shared just hit on something that I know is going to be valuable to the coaches, which is having a wide array of testimonials. Like you can't just have the testimonials from just one demographic, but every single result that you get for different types of people, you should have all of those right there available for you. To the point that you just made, every potential client can say, okay, you've done this for somebody like me, because that becomes the question is, okay, I've seen you do this for people, but can you do it for me? And that's where having very specific testimonials where it kind of fits a certain mode or demographic comes into play.
Yep. You have to know your clients or potential clients' pain points and their concerns. So if that means that, like for me, I know that my clients are concerned about age. Their age, right? And the older women get, the quote unquote less desirable we are in the market, whatever. I know that they're concerned about being a mom. Oh my gosh, I have kids. I'm not going to be as attractive, whatever that might look like. I'm heavier. I'm a Black woman, whatever that looks like, right? So that means that I need to speak to those very particular pain points. Even if that means that I have a legitimate client who got results from me and I might say, hey girl, you got your engagement ring. I'm so excited for you, girlfriend. Do me a favor. I'm going to write what I want you to say back to me, which is the truth. Can you say this back? Hey, Alison, you know that I was so concerned about being a single mom and a divorcee. And I'm so thankful that you were able to help me to be found by the partner that I deserve. We're getting married next year, right? Like if I need to do that, if I need to coach them through what the testimonial needs to say, I'm going to do that. Again, all honest testimonials, but they're clients. They don't know what I need. But to your point, Jay, yes, I need the variety. I need to use the language that my clients are concerned about, that they hear about, that they worry about, so that they can know and they can say, oh, I'm a single mom, or I'm a divorcee, or I'm 40 plus, or I'm 32, or I am a devout Christian who is a virgin, or whatever that looks like that's seen as difficult or problematic. so that they can know that I've helped them, the client who wrote the testimonial, so I can help you.
Right. And let's kind of talk about those coaches who have committed the cardinal sin. They're not collecting testimonials. They're getting results behind the scenes, but not letting nobody know. Can you speak to how important it is for them to like get it together and start getting the testimonials, collecting them and putting them out as soon as they can?
So are we talking about coaches who don't have testimonials?
No,
like they don't even have them, or they're not posting them?
Well, yeah, I'm talking more specifically about a coach that they're working with people, they're getting them results, but the light bulb hasn't clicked off that, hey, you actually need to tell people to give you a testimonial, record it, write it, screenshot it, show me some type of evidence of what you're doing behind the scenes so potential clients will want to work with you.
Yeah. So the first thing that I have, which I don't use, but I do have it in my agreement that every client signs, is that I have a right to use their photo, likeness. I don't remember the exact language. I actually had a lawyer write it up for me so that it was like through and through, right?
Yeah.
Well, first, I bought it offline for like $10. And then once I made some money, I hired a lawyer for $350 to go over it to add some stuff.
Yeah.
But anywho, in the agreement, it says I have a right to screenshot, post, blah, 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 anything that they send me. Because of the nature of my work, I don't do them like that. I always ask permission, but I do have it. So if we're talking about people who is not as sensitive, like their service is not as sensitive as my work, if they send you it, that means that's permission.
Yeah.
Why you sent this to me for, right? If you want to be kind, which I do, which is, hey girl, I'm so excited for you. Can I post this?
Yeah.
And they usually say, sure, duh, that's why I sent it. But again, the nature of my work, I'm very particular. I don't have to be, but if you want to be, oh, I'm so excited that you finally made a 10K a year. Can I post this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you screenshot it and you post it. Now, if you are nervous, I need you to look at your light bill, your electric bill, your car note, your mortgage, right? Look at your fingernails that you need to fill in, and then become unnervous, because testimonials is what's going to get you your next client.
That's real.
So get over it.
Yeah, that's real.
Get over it. Oh no, why would they not want to share your wins?
Right.
Like right? Like, again, my industry is a little bit different because folks, I'm a little uncomfortable. I don't want folks to know. So a lot of my testimonials are screenshots from text messages. And I even have to like redact some information to make sure that folks are safe and comfortable.
Right.
Many of my testimonials are literally a hand with a ring. Many of them are, thank you so much, Alison, I'm in a committed relationship, which is not the best. Like, ideally, it should be two people walking down the aisle. Ideally, it should be a hand with a ring. But I got to take what I can get, and I'm thankful, and I roll with it.
Right. Because think about it. You never know. That may be the goal that somebody is seeking, right? Like, we know that there's steps to this thing. Somebody may want to eventually get married, but right now they're like, yo, I just want to be in a relationship. So being able to showcase that testimonial as well helps. It speaks to that person. And that's what we've been talking about. You know, you want to have that wide variety of different testimonials that speak to different people in different spaces in their life, as well as different goals that they may have as well. So that's spot on. And with that, where do you feel like coaches should be utilizing or, you know, putting these testimonials in order to get the most bang for their buck? What would you say?
Yep. There's a couple of paces. So number one, you need it in your highlights. So it should be at the top of your page. You need to create a highlight that says testimonials, reviews, 5-star rating, whatever cover art you want to make. Go in Canva, put highlight, IG highlight, design something pretty, post it to your story, create the highlight, and then every testimonial should be going there, right? Because that is going to live there forever. It's not like something, a timeline post or a story post that will expire or scroll down over time. So it needs to be in your highlights, number one. Number two, it needs to be on your timeline. And potentially the best one should be pinned on the top, or if you can gather them and make them like a carousel or a reel. If you have a couple of them, you package them together, post it. If you can get a sound that makes sense. So there was a trending sound that was like, it was a Southern woman who was like, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but toot toot. So I made a reel. I put a couple of my testimonials in there. I put that sound on. So now I'm a part of the trending. So hopefully more people are seeing it. And then I'm going to pin it to the top so that when people come to my page, if it's pinned, it clearly is valuable to me. And I want you to know this is what I'm doing. So highlights, reels, like actually on your timeline, pinning it to the top in your stories with your link. So in your stories with your link, so it can show, thank you so much, Jay. Because of you, I was able to step my game up and go from 3K months to 10K months. I'm so thankful, right? And then it's going to be your link for a consultation with Jay right there. So now I'm putting 2 and 2 together. If I click this link to book a consultation, I might be able to go from 3K to 10K months if I work with Jay. Right? So in your stories, you can also send it in your emails. Now, for me, somebody who's constantly getting them, I already send too many emails out. I'm sure I'm very annoying. So I'm not going to email every single testimonial. But my biggest ones, I may do it because I'd be sending 200. That's ridiculous. But if my big ones, like I had a client who bought her house with her husband. Right. So she's standing in front of the house with her husband, with her son, his stepson. So I use that language because I know people are concerned about that, and they're holding the keys. You getting that in an email, bro. And you getting that in a text message. You need to know that we are creating generational wealth. This is not, I paid Alison 5K. This is generational wealth for your son.
Right. Yo, we adding that one to the welcome sequence, man. Everybody that get on your list got to see that.
Absolutely. I'm going to do that. I actually just looked at my sequence and I need to remix and add some new testimonials in there from the old ones. But yes. Again, it needs to be in your highlights. Go in Canva, do IG highlight, make a nice piece of artwork, post it to your story, and then post all your testimonials today on your story. And then that way you can add it to the highlight. It's there forever. You make a carousel or a reel. If you could put a nice sound that makes sense, post it on your timeline, pin that to the top. And then when appropriate, email and text it out as well.
I love that. Yo, you have put on a masterclass. Like I already knew you was going to come here and drop gems, and you did just that. Before we wrap up, I kind of want to, kind of look behind the scenes of what you got going on. When you look at your business, what would you say are some projects or some goals that you've set that you're looking to accomplish, by the end of next year?
That's an excellent question. So I am in the second season of my podcast, the single season. Yes. And it has premiered on Roku, which is really big and really special. Ideally, I would like to get picked up by a podcasting network, I'm on one now, but something that's bigger, something like an iHeartRadio, or I think OWN is in the works of creating their own podcast network. So that would be really lovely. I have to tell you though that who I am and also the nature of my work, I'm very family oriented. So I'm not overwhelmed, but I'm busy, right? Yeah. So I don't have this extreme plan of where I see myself super out there. I have what I do every month. I have a calendar. January is my alignment assignment, setting up our goals for the year. February is going to be my Valentine's Day in-person workshop. March is going to be, right? So I do have it for the year in terms of what are my repeat offenders. But right now I'm maintaining, I'm happy, right? And like I said, I have the podcast, but it's not even anything that's grand. If it gets picked up, if I can get some sponsors for the pod, that's amazing. And then I do have my yearly retreat, the Ready, Set, Love retreat, which is in Costa Rica for single women and women who are struggling in their relationship that wants more depth and wants to create the relationship that leads to their lifelong marriage. I have my retreat that I do every year. This year, 2024 will be in Costa Rica. But other than that, I don't do any kind of extreme. The work is so intense. I'm week by week, month by month kind of thing.
With that in mind, since you do have quite a bit of things on your plate, I'm curious, are there any challenges that you find yourself facing or roadblocks that you're currently having to overcome?
I don't spend as much time with my kid as I would like. There's only 24 hours in the day, right? And so some things got to give. And unfortunately, she's a part of the give. The good news is that she's 14 months, so she don't know the difference. But so, so I'm not going to have a kid who's going to say behind, when they're 18, mommy, you never spent any time with me. I wouldn't let it get to a point where she would remember. But there's still some parent guilt associated with not spending as much time as I would like with her. But other than that, no, I come from a Caribbean background. work is in our blood. Like we gotta work, right? Like that's just the nature of the game. You're not a valuable human being, which is not the truth, but in the culture, you don't have value. You're a scumbag. You're a vagabond. You're, like you gotta get your shit together. You're a bum. So working and having the desire and the drive to work has never been a problem for me. Being consistent has never been a problem for me. I am very passionate about being a woman of my word. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to find a way, even if it's not done properly or perfectly is what I should say. So for instance, the other day, I recognized that one of my emails that's been going out for years has a spelling error in it. Because I was in a rush, and I stay in a rush because this is my life, right? But what am I going to not do? I'm not going to post the email sequencing ConvertKit because it got one error. Like, nah. And maybe they think I'm a little bit more real.
Right.
I'm not a bot. Right. So I got to keep pushing. I got to do. So those things like motivation, unfortunately, I can't speak to. But I can speak to mommy guilt, and it's there. But the hope is I'm putting things in place now that can allow me to be in cruise control by the time she really has memories anyway.
Yeah. Nah, that's real. That's real. And if I know from just our conversation and from, watching you on socials, I already know that that's not a challenge that you won't be able to overcome. Like from what I've seen, anything that is placed with in front of you, like you overcome it, whether you're going to jump over or you're going to tear through it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Jay.
Yeah, most definitely. And one other question about your business, right? Because we do talk about utilizing video, email, and podcasts, and you do all three. And I'm curious, which one has been like your bread and butter when it comes to landing clients for you?
Oh, for sure, video, social media. Video, social media. I build the email list because that's what the coach told me to do, right? I can't tell you unequivocally that the email is what seals the deal. I can't tell you that. I think that free trainings with a huge discount that's offered at the end of the training seals the deal. And I think the knocking them over the head with the free content, reels, posts, live streams. They have to see that you're a real human being. Like I am real. I am here to help you. I'm here to put fire under your behind. Like this is my baby's room. We live in Brooklyn, and so we making it work. This is my little corner where the office is. The baby sleep in the back. Like this is real, right? So they need to see. I think perfectly coiffed emails with beautiful Canva designs. In my opinion, it has not worked for me. I don't think so. It's the real. The real is what's going to get people to know. They need to see your life. So when I post me and my baby and my husband, I know this sounds terrible, but it's true. They are content too. Because if I'm telling you I can help you be found by the partner you deserve, you need to see that I got a partner that I deserve. And I'm building a family that I want to help you build. Right. So I don't mean to be over the top for my business coaches. We don't need you in a Lambo, right? But what we should see you like, hey, I just got off of a coaching session and I was able to, right? Like we need to hear that we need to see and hear that you're doing it. It doesn't have to be a private jet fake photo shoot. We don't want that. But
real life.
Real life, like this is the work, and maybe even some struggles that you might be facing as well. But you also can't be a bum either. And when I say a bum, let me fix that. You can't present like one. Right? So you should still be like, your hair should be cut and done like you, because why would I believe that you can help me make money if you looking homeless? So you do need to be clean and presentable, but don't do the fake Lambo, renting the jet. Like it don't have to be that extreme, but show us results. You need to be presentable and you need to show us the results. You said it, Jay, and I'm confused. Because why are we not posting testimonials? It's the same ones too. Because if you have a following of 5,000 people and your reel had 1K views, that means 4,000 people didn't see it. Next week, I'm posting it at a different time and a different day so somebody else can see I'm winning, and I help people win.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's weird, Alison, like I don't understand why so many coaches have just kind of not seen the importance in testimonials. And I don't know if they kind of feel like, oh, I'm showing too much, or I really don't know what it is. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation, because I'm like, I talk to coaches and they're like, this is what they always tell me. I know I need to post more proof. I need to put up more testimonials. And the question becomes like, why aren't you? And they don't really have an answer. And it's like, yo, get on that. Like, that's one of the best assets that you have working for you, especially if your goal is to land new clients. Now, if you happy with what you got, who you working with, you're not trying to get nothing new, then you ain't got to do it. But if you're like, yo, I don't know why I can't get any clients, well, where your testimonials at? Over there, just collecting dust?
So 2 things, Jay. So number 1, I'm going to challenge the audience. Can you please help Jay understand why you're not posting the testimonials? Write it in the comments, because that's going to help him in order to create the content that you need in order to win. So help us in the comments right now. You're going to put this on pause. You're going to go write, Jay, this is why, right? That's number 1. Number 2, I'm going to challenge you, Jay. A lot of times we say that they don't have a real answer, and that's not the truth. We don't understand their answer. Right. We don't appreciate their answer. If I ask a woman, I'll ask them, well, you got to go outside to meet a man. Yeah, I know, but look at that. No, she said words. I just don't like her answer. I think her answer is bullshit. And so it went in one ear and out the other. So I would even challenge you, Jay. They're giving you an answer. You don't understand it. You don't appreciate it. You think it's bullshit. You think it's excuses. So I would challenge you to push back and say, well, that doesn't make sense. Oh, well, I don't want to violate their privacy. I'm just making stuff up. I can't imagine either. Me and you on the same page. I don't want to violate their privacy. Well, if they gave you the screenshot, you can do one of 2 things. You can safely assume that it's okay. And if they have a problem with it, delete it after. Oh, well, you got mad views before they saw it. Or you can ask them, hey, I'm so excited for you. Is it okay if I repost? Anybody, again, the business coaches be winning. Anyone who's a business coach means that their clients are businesses, right? So they know the importance of testimonials. So then they know, girls, please post it. Coaches can be some of the best clients because they get the business of it all. Me talking about this so freely with you, Jay, is actually strange because it de-romanticizes, that's not even a word, what I do.
I'm sure nobody, you made it today.
I'm sure nobody wants to hear the dating coach talk about this is how I make money, right? And it probably doesn't make me look good, quote unquote. But we need to understand that everything is a business and industry. It's not about how much money do I make or am I getting rich off of. It's, are the clients winning? Are they meeting their results and they're meeting their goals? And if they are, then I'm doing the service. And I should be paid just like anybody else who's providing a service once the results are real. And I'm going to repeat again, we are not falsifying. We are not typing our own. We're not having our sister send us an email to screenshot. You are asking your clients to post their stuff. You are included in the agreement, whatever they send you or you see as something that's screenshot worthy, you will repost. Again, I have that in my agreement, but I always ask anyway. And you're going to post it, period. That's what it is.
Oh my goodness, yo. I knew we was going to come in here and have a great conversation. I came in wanting to guarantee the result that any coach that tuned into this podcast would be able to walk away knowing how to leverage the testimonials to get new clients. And I feel like you thoroughly delivered on that. And I'm sure that there are going to be some people who are tuned in listening that want to work with you, want to know how they can get in contact with you. Can you please let them know how they can do that?
Yes, absolutely. So if there's anybody who is in the audience who's looking to be found by the partner that they deserve, you want to be in a healthy, happy, committed relationship, engaged, married, building the family of your dreams, you are going to go to Align with Alison on every platform. My website, alignwithallison.com, my Instagram, my Twitter, X, my YouTube, TikTok, every platform is the same. Align, ALIGN, with Alison, ALISON. You can check out my freebies. Coaches, you have to have a freebie. You have to be collecting emails and text messages. What one day Instagram is going to be the new, what was that platform when I was a kid? Not Squarespace. Not something with
MySpace.
MySpace. One day TikTok. It might be 10, 15 years from now. One day it's going to be old and whack. So you need to build your own platform. Check out the freebies first. If the freebies help you a little bit, as it should, a little bit, then you can decide whether or not and on what level you want to invest thereafter. But do something to change the trajectory of your love life.
Oh, man. Yo, Alison, I'm honored to have had you come on the podcast. You dropped gems from start to finish. And did you have any last or closing words you wanted to leave the audience with before we wrap up?
So, Jay, I want to thank you for having me as your guest. I love to talk shop and I never really get a chance to. So I'm thankful for you having me as your guest. What I'm going to say to the audience is that Jay's podcast is amazing. You need to stream every single episode. You need to listen 2, 3, 4 times. I know that might sound ridiculous, but there might be a gem that you didn't hear before. You might execute on some of it. You need to listen to it again and again and take action. And then after you've done that, you need to put your money where your mouth is. You need to invest with Jay. Or I'll be honest, I say this for myself, invest with whoever you think is the right fit for you, but you need to do something. We cannot sit here and complain about our romantic life. We can't complain about our business and then refuse to do the work in order to get the results. So again, Jay, thank you so much. But really, my last notes are for the audience, do something.
Yeah. Wow. Alison, yo, this was absolutely amazing. Like, I am so grateful. I knew coming in, like, you talk relationships all the time. So I was like, I'm hoping I'm giving her a breath of fresh air to talk a little shop. I'm like, I hope she coming in game. And yo, you definitely came in ready. And I just wanted to let you know that you have an open invitation. If you ever want to talk shop, if you like, yo, I need a break from relationship, you got an open invitation to come back over here anytime you want. And I truly appreciate you for coming on the podcast and just blessing me and the audience. Thank you.
Of course, anytime.